I think that my hottest take is that it basically feels like playing D&D doesn't feel playtested. Why have you even given me the stat block at this point? Because, like, why give stat blocks if you're not going to give them personality? Fundamentally, how you challenge a tactician is very similar to how you challenge a fighter, right?
That's for me.
But, like, it's kind of a skill issue.
You are full of contradictions, Paul.
No, I'm crashing out when I've loaded up the codex. I'm just bombarded with so much stuff going on. Yeah. I don't want to feel like I'm playing a video game. And then I went to Roll20, which is terrible. I don't like Roll20.
I'm scared.
Okay, I'm gonna go now. It's been a lovely time.
Hold on.
So, I appreciate that you want to give me the space to be whatever I want to be, but Draw Steel already gives me that space. And I think it was deeply wrong that you guys rated someone who had hand-drawn something below people who had used stock imagery, who didn't have art at all. Like, it really made me angry. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today we're going over the highlights of my appearance on Goblin panel last week. As I'm sure you saw in the intro, we talked about the two types of role-playing games I think they are, the Summoner, random encounters, and a really cool new Ancestry from one of the crafts. If any of that sounds cool, stick around.
Hello, and welcome to another Goblin panel live. This time, the goblins in residence is me, John Denor. We also have Paul.
Hello.
Ananam.
Dzień dobry.
And Frederica.
Hello.
What we're instead going to talk about, instead of the culinary habits of Brazilians, is the stuff that's been happening in the MCDM/Draw Steel/Crows community in the past month or so. So the first point in the agenda that we put together is the Crows playtest. Has anyone had the chance to look at it or even maybe play?
I've played it.
Yeah. And are on record as having done so.
Yes. I have many opinions.
Well, I'm gonna have a cute smile because I am probably the only one who hasn't played it yet, but I did read it.
Frederica, let's start out with you. You having played it and even talked a bit about it on your video. But what are some more hot takes?
Okay, well, I think the best, if you want like a really clippable thing for me to say, it's that I think that it is, I need to tab this out. I saw an echo of myself. I think that my hottest take is that I think it basically feels like playing D&D in the fact that it doesn't feel playtested. Like, I hate to break it to them, but like they've brought back a lot of things that they fixed with Draw Steel, and then the changes they've made, they've brought them back in. Like, you have the I miss my turn dice. You have the everything just feeling like random nice dice rolls, and there being no real tactics. You're just smacking things. So I feel like it's in a okay place, but I wouldn't call it a great place. Like, often when I've played this stuff in the past, it feels like it starts off in this place of being a little bit bad, a little bit kind of meh, just a little bit porridgey, a little bit oatmeal-y. And I'm just there like, I'm very excited to see where they take it. But I think right now there's a lot that doesn't work yet. A thing I've been thinking a lot about lately is I feel like, maybe this is too grand a point, but I feel like there's kind of two types of TTRPGs. And there's those that assume that you find the difficult part is coming up with cool things to put in your game. And those that assume that you struggle to take cool things and make cool things out of them. So Crows is very much, the assumption is that the thing you want help with is putting them together into interesting dungeons or interesting overland travel. And what you're going to be really good at is, oh, I've got this unnamed blood creature. Let me call it something cool. Let me describe that to my players. Let me turn that into a really engaging, dramatic, suspense-filled encounter. Whereas Draw Steel is very much like, oh, you want cool things, but we trust you to make cool encounters out of them. We're going to give you a set of really cool things for you to use to make your own story, if that makes sense as a comparison. And I feel like it's that kind of thing of like, oh, we don't have exact names for them, we're going to call them Blood Creature A. It's like, well, is the thing, if I have generic monster, Blood Monster A, from my perspective as a rep and a director, I'm like, I literally don't need that. Like, I can make generic Blood Monster A and then call it whatever I want. Why have you even given me the stat block at this point? Like, why not just give me a set of number ranges to build my own stat blocks? Like, why give stat blocks if you're not going to give them personality? At that point, you might as well everything might just well be one generic stat block. That's obviously quite an extreme opinion for a podcast. Maybe it's a little bit too extreme, but you know what I mean.
Whoa. Well, they do have personality. They just don't have names.
Yeah,
Yeah, but like no,
they
no,
have
they,
a little
in my opinion,
personality.
in my
Yeah.
opinion, they're a stat block with a piece of art next to them. That's not the same thing as it having personality. You can apply personality to it because it has stat blocks, but the abilities don't do anything particularly unique. There's nothing that makes them special. There's no, as far as I remember from running it, there was no like trait ancestral blood creature ability thing. I think maybe there is something, but that's having a piece of art next to a stat block does not make the stat block unique.
No, that helps have it be evocative for the players, but for your job as a referee, and I think I really interesting point, Frederica. Yeah, go ahead, Nat.
I gotta say that it makes sense to make the stat blocks as simple as possible because it simplifies the game and makes it quicker, and I guess that's what the game is going for. But at the same time, I do prefer more complexity, and I do prefer stat blocks from like Draw Steel, obviously, because they are super interesting, super cool. Like Matt Colville always says that directors giggle when they see what they can do with their monsters, right? With malice abilities. I'm not saying introduce malice to the game, but I do like stat blocks being more unique, and that's one of the things I don't really like that it got, again, I am misusing the word because it's not like they stole it, but similar RPGs like Shadow Dark and some OSR stuff do have very, very simple stat blocks, and I am not a fan.
But moving on to the next piece on the agenda, Summoner. Have any of you played as a Summoner or played with a Summoner or directed for a Summoner?
Even though I've read the class like twice now, when I am not playing one, I have a hard time trying to understand what the Summoner does, like in detail. It's a very cool, but very different class, right? But I like how it is different. I really like that Josil allows for this kind of very unique, more complex design. But masterclass.
Go, Frederica, go.
Having run for it, I don't think it's more complex than the other classes.
Okay.
I just think we forgot how complex the classes were the first time we played Draw Steel. Like it is one of the more simple classes. The turns play out pretty similarly. There's not much going on. When you come from like D&D, fundamentally how you challenge a tactician is very similar to how you challenge a fighter, whether we want to acknowledge that they are similar problems, right? Right. But because we've not had 10 years, or for lots of you, 20, 30, how many years that we don't want to talk about, 40 years maybe for some of you, of running, like if you were running since you were 13, right? Let's...
I have to go now. That's the end of the stream.
But like you don't have that mental experience of how do you challenge a necromancer? And I think in my experience, the complaint I've heard from directors about it, and I've seen and I've heard other people I know who run it, are very much, not to put it that's a bit blunt, but like it's kind of a skill issue. It's like challenging the summoner is just a different set of problems, you know? Because you can just kill all their minions and they're not going to have fun, or you can kill none of their minions and they're going to feel really powerful. But there is middle ground here. There's you can use the skill the same way you are going to let the sensor's judge abilities go off sometimes. You're not going to be like, you've judged this creature, I'm not going to take main actions anymore. You're always doing that little dance. And I just think we need more time as directors to learn how the summoner plays. And once you get your head around it, it's just fun. It's just really, really fun.
Yeah, fortunately, there is a section for the directors how to challenge a summoner player, right?
Yeah, it's so good.
And also, I just want to say that even if it's not complex to play, it feels complex because you have so many bodies on the map, you know? Like...
That, it can feel that complex. Just to weigh in here, I've directed several sessions for summoners, and have played alongside summoners. And the only part where I will agree that they're complicated is, at least insofar as they are complicated to build, especially if you don't have something like Forged Steel. So I found it very, very challenging to assemble just with the PDF. So I'm really looking forward to it being in Forged Steel and getting a chance to play it. And
it
in the
already
Codex.
is.
I know. Well, yes, soon.
No, it's right now.
It's in Forge Steel right now.
Yes, and I can post it on Blue Sky like 1 hour ago.
Wow,
It's in
amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, well, hey, after this is over, I'm gonna build a summoner. As a director, I didn't feel that the turns took any longer than any other class. And I think, to your point, Frederica, that if you are familiar with Draw Steel and you play a summoner, it's the exact same experience, because and maybe you're like moving more individuals around on the map, of course, but it's still it's still the same.
I'd say it can feel complex, but it's no more complex than when you have a Troubadour dramatic reversal and then the next turn the talent flashback that dramatic reversal. The game gets just as confusing at that point as it does for anything the summoner can do. The summoner doesn't get more complex as they get more of essence, I think it is. Whereas a lot of the classes, it's like they start off not very like the tactician's just going to hit people, and then by the time they've got 5 focus and they're doing hammer and anvil and there's marked effects happening all the time, you're like, wow, this is crazy. But the summoner starts off, you get the first combat and they're like, right, so now I summon 2 demons, and then they always go to take their turn first because everyone's super excited the first time you play it, and they summon more demons, and you go from there being nothing on the battle map to like however many undead, and you're like, what is happening? But actually, it's pretty chill once you get your head around it.
I know from playing with Cameron that he has a special place reserved for the summoner. But in his defense, he has also been screwed over by the playtest version a lot, which needed some tweaking before its final version. Yeah,
I had a really bad experience. I banned the summoner at my table for like 4 months until it came out officially, because I played with the playtest one, and I was like, there was the heroes, the director, and the summoner player. And it really felt like there was equal amounts of time spent on those 3 groups of people. And this was in a 6-player group.
I also think I saw someone commenting on, I think Reddit, where they said that if the summoner player does not plan their turn at least a little bit before they go, it can take a really long time. Most of the other players can kind of get around not planning too much before they take their turn. It depends, but for the summoner, they, especially once they get a lot of like minions on the map, they need to have like an idea where to put them at least, and what they're supposed to do, and which ones to sacrifice and what to summon, to kind of keep the momentum going. Because if you then start thinking, well, I've got 8, so where do they go exactly? Then it's too late.
Masterclass.
If you're a player who struggles to pick what maneuver to do on your turn, if you don't just kind of know what maneuver you want to do, don't play the summoner. You won't have fun. Like if you have any level of analysis paralysis and you struggle to make, if you're like, wow, I have too many options in Draw Steel, I don't know what to do with them all, don't play a summoner. You will not have fun. I would recommend a Beast Heart for those kind of players, but don't play a summoner.
I'm right now having a PTSD attack of my friends who overanalyze things in 5e, waiting what to do on their turn. I'm like, you got like 2 options.
I have a friend who I run for on a Sunday night. Hi Rowan, if you're listening. And they are an overanalyzer in D&D. And when they first started playing Draw Steel, I got close to bringing in a turn timer for them. I was like, this is getting ridiculous. Like you can't be taking this long. And they picked the tactician because it was my first time running Draw Steel. I couldn't warn them, and they were just there like, there's so many choices. Every time someone would hit the marked creature, they'd have to think about all of the possible things they could do with the marked trigger, and it was just not it.
I recently played a censor for the first time, and I'm really happy I did in the codex, because I would have gotten analysis paralysis looking at the judgment ability, which is just like it's a page unto itself. Having to keep track of that all the time. Whew.
Yeah.
Anytime someone complains about the summoner being crazy, I'm just like, you've not played with a censor who knows what they're doing. Playing with a censor who knows what they're doing is the worst thing as a director. It can really end your fun, particularly if you have a solo, if the censor really has built their character to make your life miserable.
Yeah, and if you have a lot of wrath, then we don't have time for this, but I hate random encounters. I think it's more like...
But you were like saying you liked the crows. How could
that's
you
in
like
crows.
the crows overland
that's
travel?
different.
You are full of contradictions, Paul.
No, I'm crashing out like Cameron now.
By
Yeah, but
definition, I'm a human. I'm full of contradictions.
I never did a random encounter in Draw Steel, but
I love random encounters in Draw Steel. I think random encounters in Draw Steel are great.
Whoa.
Well, in my head, sorry, I'm so far off a side tangent now, John. I'm so sorry for your agenda. Like, I find it so... You know the issue in Skyrim where Bethesda... This is such a weird niche, but Bethesda really hard-coded in that, like, every encounter would respond to the player's action. So if you go off and do a different thing, even if you spent the whole time grinding early on, leveled up super high, when you go to the first adventure, you're still going to find it hard because they've scaled it. And I found early on in Draw Steel that it's really easy as the director to every encounter put it just at that like sweet spot where it's just above just coming to a hard encounter where the players like you do the classical, oh, it's round 1, everything's fine, round 2 sucks, round 3 we win, right? It's really, really easy to always be in that sweet spot. And I realized that it's actually really fun to have some encounters that are kind of fixed or slightly random where you can just let the players either be in a situation where they might lose or be in a situation where they might win. And allowing a random encounters, in my experience, have been quite a good way to build that in. So I'm not saying it's like a random encounter where we're like walking through the dungeon and I've rolled a random encounter and checking, oh look, 5 of the exact same monster walk in. I'm saying like if they're traveling, I might prep six encounters that could occur, and I have the maps prepared and I've got them backed up across, like you can use them in multiple adventures and stuff. But it adds those kind of like moments where you have, if they pushed themselves too far on the victories, on the recoveries, and then they're traveling back, and now that's a really engaging dramatic fight because they're low enough that you kind of have this like this gameplay that emerges from that randomness.
okay, but are the like you got 6 encounters? Are they prepared like in advance? Do you know the squads and the map and all of this? Because I have to maximize fun for my players because we play so rarely, so I would rather have like 1 or 2 encounters I am fully prepared for and I know they are gonna be fun than just like roll for random monsters and stuff. Are your encounters prepared in advance?
Yeah, like I have quite a lot of maps sitting around now, so I'll be like, okay, on like a kind of standard road map, put this set of squads in, or like if it was like a goblin themed adventure, like, okay, this is what I know an encounter squad would look like. This is the kind of thing they might be doing. You can't throw a Draw Steel encounter together at once. But I've run Draw Steel a slightly silly amount now, and I find that I can actually just throw together encounters pretty quickly because as long as you make a note of how much EV do I have to spend, you can just know. You can just go blah, 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 buy stuff and throw them on the battle map. And particularly if you're using a VTT which is lighter, which doesn't need as much work to set up as Foundry or Codex or something. If you're playing in person, you just draw lines on a map, right? Like it could be really fast to get those stuff going.
Mm-hmm. Well, one problem I can potentially see is like it might be a very anticlimax end to a campaign when you're returning from somewhere. You're getting a random encounter, you're low on recoveries, and a band of random goblins wipe your party.
I mean, there's still room for the like scoping that in. I wouldn't throw an encounter that I knew would be deadly in that situation. But for instance, I did once have a very dramatic encounter where they fought someone they let go about 3 hours earlier. It was just one person, and it wouldn't have even been risky for them. But one of the players was literally dying because they were out of recoveries, they were out of healing potions, they had no way to get this player up, and so that encounter became very intense.
Okay.
I think Total Fern is correct though that we're probably not communicating our definitions of random effectively, which is a very good call.
I've come across that before in discussion about random encounters, that people tend to have different definitions of how random and what random means.
Yeah, well, it's different when you've got like random tables in D&D when you roll one of 100 results.
Oh, God.
And one result is one young red dragon and the other is 2d6 goblins, right? It's quite different in scale. You can roll 2 goblins or you can roll a red dragon, right?
Also, a random encounter written by somebody else and a random encounter written by yourself, 2 very, very different prospects. I'm not against. I have been known to roll a random encounter and go, no, and just roll again. Sometimes you roll a random encounter and you're like, that one would not be fun. It would be very unfun.
I did similar in the past when I'm rolling for a random encounter and I'm like, at the time of rolling, I feel like the one with a 4 is the one I should be using, right? Because only in the moment of me rolling the dice, I know which one I really want.
Once the choice has been made, you realize which one was the right one.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry for ruining your agenda.
One of the reasons I think why I liked Crows is because I chose to have the alchemist encounter twice. I was like, I don't want just random blood creatures.
Yeah, see, you're already cheating.
Yeah.
So,
I'm playing the game wrong.
You are
Imagine
supposed to
not
be a
playing-
ref.
Imagine not playing exactly by the rules. Ugh.
Yeah. A ref should be impartial, Paul.
It's too late for me.
The Crows rules does specifically say that if it's fun, it's right.
I'd also say the draw steel one, the one that comes with the Ajax.
Yeah.
The cheat sheet on the back is really genuinely
It's
useful.
so good.
I'm not trolling when I say when I first got it, I would actually sit here playing online and have it next to me as a cheat sheet.
Yeah.
It's that useful.
Wow, I haven't looked at it since I opened the box for the first time. When I ran 5th edition in person, I usually used one. I never used the back of it. I had just like the official one
but
that I had back in the day.
The official 5th edition DM screen is terrible and has nothing useful at the back of it.
Yeah, it was it was not really useful, which kind of turned me off of DM screens in general.
I will say this, if you're playing in person, you know how, even though it's never changed once the entire time, you know how you can't remember how malice works when you start an encounter? Very first thing, top left-hand corner. How much malice do you get as the director at the start?
Wait, you mean, Frederica, you don't run all of your encounters using stall? Which auto-calculates how much malice
Oh,
you
yes.
gain
Thank you to
based
Stall for sponsoring this episode of GoblinPoints. If you'd like to suggest a question, go over to give John money now. He needs money, lots of money. Here, money. Give money now.
Yeah.
.gov.
And if John needs money, he should be sponsored by the Raid Shadow Legends.
No.
I'm here today to talk about the new hero coming to Raid Shadow Legends.
No, stop.
I'm here today to talk
I'll
about
give
the
John
new
money.
products coming to Until the Last Villain Dies.
Oh, that's a nice product, right?
Yes, a very good product. 100% recommend. I am not paid to say this.
Very
Anymore.
convincing.
Gotta tell you this, Paul.
Tell me.
I've heard, next month, a very cool setting product should come out. It's called Bogates of Kingsmire. Ribbit.
Oh. At some point, Matt, I'm just going to have to stop you from plugging your own stuff on here.
And yet you include his own material in the show notes.
Yeah,
Matt, if he stops you, you have my PayPal. I can do it for you.
Okay. Yeah. I'm just gonna do this,
And Buggins.
and the ads will flow.
Do you guys find that? Hello, hot take, Frederica here. I don't really
Fishing for clips, right?
Yeah, 100%. I'm just here to clip farm, guys. No. Do you guys find the experience of having these kind of more heavy VTTs, which are doing a lot of work for you? Do you do that because you struggle to manage the game without them, or is it that you find that fun? Like, what's the motive? Because I don't enjoy it.
Oh, interesting.
We are old. We like it simple.
But it's so much work to get them to work. Like
It can be a lot of
every
work.
time I've never really had a DM who's played them, so I've never learned it. But my experience is just like, oh, let me spend 20 minutes fighting it to do something when I could have just done it myself. Like,
I mean, with the level of automation the Codex has out of the box, it's so easy to run draw still in the Codex, you know.
Yeah, if you're running using the monsters that comes in the Codex.
Yeah.
If you have your own monster set blocks, it automatically becomes a lot more work, especially if you want them to work the way the official monsters do.
I would say it depends on your group too. Like if you're playing over the internet and you have a group, or you're playing virtually rather, and you have a group of people who are not necessarily tech savvy, then oh my god, it's so painful to teach them how to use a new platform, and sticking with a map and token system like Miro or Albert Rodeo. I think those folks are better suited. However, if you got a group of folks that want to get crunchy and want to learn the details and level of automation, then so far, at least recently in my experience, something like the Codex can actually make playing the game easier.
I guess is I had my start playing predominantly Theatre of the Mind, and then I went to Roll20, which is terrible. I don't like Roll20. And then when I moved to Albert, like I think Albert is just the perfect balance where it just gives me the like all the tools I need. When I loaded up the Codex, it's just there's so much information. I think it's almost a UI issue for me that when I've loaded up the Codex, I'm just bombarded with so much stuff going on.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't want to feel like I'm playing a video game when I'm playing a TTRPG. I want it to be an experience where most of the experience is us talking to each other, not us being like, oh, I move across the room. Let me move my mini across the room. Like, I don't want that most of the time.
Oh, that's so much fun to me. Having the tokens, having us physically located on a map, seeing where everyone is in the room without having to ask them, without having to intimately describe that, okay, I'm going to keep over here. Just having the map, having the tokens on it, seeing where everyone is without having to consult all the other players, without having the director needlessly explain in detail where everything is located, being able to show physically that yes, I'm moving across the room and we're doing a thing over here. And the Codex being able to do a lot of like the mechanical work for us means that we have more time, or at least I feel like we have more time doing the playing.
Yes.
Well, I think it's a question of what is playing the game, because for me, the describing my character walks across the bar and tablecloth is gonna like walk up to the barkeep and be like, "Can I have a drink?" You know, like that is playing the game to me. And when I have my players just like, you know,
Is your
doing
character's
like
name Tablecloth?
yeah, he wanted after this was in a Fall of Blackbottom game after he fled the armies of Ajax after the fall of Calavar, I think it is. He wanted to pick a name that would make him fit in with humans, so he picked something that Kalian people said a lot. Didn't realize it wasn't a name.
That's a perfect name.
It is a reference to Hitchhiker's Guide.
I that reminded me of my Time Raider who saw a jar of honey and thought it was made from people because people on Orden kept calling each other honey.
Honey.
So you just assume that this must be that extract from those humans.
That's yeah.
And I feel this is some of the points also that a lot of time comes up when people discuss, especially the Codex, which is so highly automated as it is. That for some people it's a turn off. Like this is too much. I'm not playing the game anymore. And to me, it's like, well, I'm playing even more of the game because this is doing all the bookkeeping.
Yeah, exactly.
And we turned from hot takes to deep takes.
Scared.
Okay, I'm gonna go now. It's been a lovely
Wait,
time.
hold on. So let's be clear. Let's be clear. John and a previous Goblin panel looked at Reliquaries of Orvab the Handless. I asked John to include it because it's kind of a companion product to the Stewards of the Sleeping Lands. And also just to set the record straight that these are reliquaries of a deceased archfey who you can summon if you have a sufficient number, but that is not what the Cave of Amber Tears is about. Because you were talking about that last time.
You are all chill because what I've seen in the material for this is the Ancestry, not these other things.
Well, we're going to get to
Ancestry
the
is next.
Ancestry in a second.
So I guess the Ancestry is here. I hadn't seen this part of it yet, so I don't have opinions about this part of it.
But you're forming opinions just now.
Oh, I have
forming
opinions
as
about the Ancestries, yes. But I've read, we know I've read a lot of Ancestry. They have a lot of opinions.
Oh yeah, you did the
care about your
video
opinions.
about every single ancestry from the gem, right?
Yeah.
I am the official Revenant hater.
Yeah. Okay, I see.
The Reliquaries of Orvab the Handless.
Yes.
Different format on the stall supplement index. You always mess up with the lines where your products show up because they're very narrow and tall. So they mess up the ratio, the aspect ratio for the other products on the same line when in the list.
It's
very different layout.
I work with I do trade format with my layout artist. So
Okay, yeah. So they don't look like they're for draw steel almost because of how.
that's kind of the point.
Yeah, I figured, but it's interesting.
Yeah, I wanted them to be weird. Also, the artist is the same for both of these. If anybody's familiar with Cloud Empress, you might recognize the artist. Their name is Pabetta. I might be pronouncing that wrong, but it's Pbbeta. And as soon as I saw for me, it's just like a dream to be able to work with them. They're very Nausicaa-esque, if you're familiar with Nausicaa and the Valley of the Wind. By Studio Ghibli, Hayao Miyazaki, both the manga and the film. Yeah, hey, there's our good buddy Orvab. He's dead now.
Yeah,
and he's a fae.
He's all like,
yes,
no hands.
He's a fae, but like a bad, a dark fae. And the only reason why these two products are connected is because the Sleeping Lands is where it's like fiction stuff. Orvab ruled over the Sleeping Lands, this wandering manifold, and now the only thing that's left there is his empty castle. And beneath the surface of the dead sands, these little Argillum buddies,
which are the next and last item on the list.
Okay, before I say anything,
before Frederica says anything.
Oh, okay, all right.
I just want to say that this product looks so beautiful and so uniquely, right? Both this cover and the previous cover,
Agreed.
I gotta say, I'm in love. Because it's such a unique style. It's something completely alien to the draw style and mostly even like heroic fantasy, It looks surreal, but it makes so much sense for this product. So you have my highest appreciation for how these products look like.
This is some of the best art I've seen in any products.
Thank you. Yeah, I wanted to look dreamlike and nightmare-ish, like nightmarish in the previous one and dreamlike in this one, because these creatures, they eat your dreams. All right, Frederica,
unleash the demon.
So, in my tier rating system, right? My tiers go from F tier to S tier, right?
Oh boy.
With S like, and let me put it this way: from the dram, the what's it called? The one that's the gas cloud in a suit.
Azomaths.
Azimuth. That is
Shout out
C
to
tier.
Dima, who's in chat. What's up, Dima?
That's C tier in my system, right? Because the thing that's important to me, and this comes from the fact that I read 125 Ancestries, and when you read 125 Ancestries, you start to notice patterns. And one of the things I really, really value in an Ancestry is an Ancestry which is a good. I appreciate art, I appreciate literature, but like that doesn't make it a good Ancestry. What I want to see is the story that you're telling me with the art and the literature and all this stuff. I want to see that represented mechanically, because I can say I am anything, but I want to do things that show me that I am that thing. And this is the harder thing, this is what gets you into the A and S tier, is I want to see mechanics which are unique. Because I think it's easy to get into this mindset of, oh, all the MCDM things are reskinned because, the dragons have, like, wings and stuff. But no, every of the MCDM ancestries has very unique traits which are unique to them and, like, are mechanically their own thing that tell you about that ancestry. And so what I felt reading this when I read it, I was like, it doesn't have what I describe as a killer trait. It doesn't have a trait where I say, oh, wow, I can see that I will use that all the time. So, like, a really good example of this from the jam is there were a bunch of really amazing ancestries that were based on the idea that you are a parasite. And one of them had really cool mechanics for, if your host dies, you become this stat block and blah de blah, and this happens, and there's all these rules for it. And I was like, that's cool. When that happens, I am going to feel like I'm a parasite. I don't know, from looking at the mechanics of this, what is an Argillum? Like, what are they? Like, I know that there's some great story and there's amazing art, but from the mechanics, what are they? What's unique about?
Fair enough. Maybe you'll just have to play one and find out, and then I will take your critique seriously.
Oh no, the deflection.
That is, yeah, and I appreciate what you're saying. I also am. Well, let's put into context. What is an S tier aside from the parasite? What would be an S tier ancestry for you?
Well, in the meantime, I gotta defend Azomaths because Azomaths will be featured in our time space
yes,
product,
also,
and they got revised.
Thank you to Matt for sponsoring me. I love the Azomath.
Azomaths are bad. Anyway, hey. No,
No,
but seriously,
moving on.
what rests in the S tier for you? What would be?
So did you see? If I say that one, I'll sound biased because I know the guy who wrote it. I'm trying to think what I put in S tier. I remember there being the one that didn't make it into S tier but made it into A tier for me was. Did you see the one? The guy who made an Ancestry where two players play the same body. That's an A tier one for me because that one's unbelievably cool. I can't wait for the
I forget because I know they
that.
renamed it at some point, but I know which one you're talking about. Yeah.
S tier for me is something like the Time Raiders. Like the Time Raiders have a lot of abilities where like every time you use the fact that you have multiple arms or the way that you have or that you have you can change your eyes, you can see through walls and stuff. That's an S tier Ancestry for me. I think I put the Devils in S tier as well because I think a lot of their abilities, like stuff like the Preventile Tail, there are a lot of Ancestries that use an ability similar to Preventile Tail, but assuming that we could assume that based on the fact that I read them in order, which is a big jump, a big statement, but like that would be something S tier for me. You did avoid one of my big pet peeves though, which is the like previous life Ancestry trait. I'm not a fan of the previous life Ancestry trait.
Well, it makes sense for some ancestries. Like for revenants, definitely makes sense because you can be an undead of any ancestry, right? For vampires, it makes sense, you know. But I'm not gonna say anything, and it wasn't.
My pet peeve with it is that it means that all Ancestry traits have to be equal, and then that takes out a lot of freedom of the developer to do interesting things with their own Ancestry. No, what I'd love to see with this Ancestry, what I would love to see, this is my big constructive point, and I've said it with a lot of Ancestries before, is I would love to see what is the like if you were to create, and I'd love to hear from you what you do with this, if you were to create a signature trait that is more than an edge on tests, if you were to create a signature trait to like sum up what this Ancestry is and what they are, because you've mentioned a lot here about like the dreams and all of this stuff, like what does that look like? What does that trait look like? What can I do in the game as that thing?
That's a very good question, and I wonder if I was like too scared to introduce something as an alternative that might like throw directors off. But one of the original signature traits was that at the end of a respite, like you could, like through dreams, like learn something about an NPC, and like learn something about an upcoming negotiation. So I always thought like maybe we slot this in as like an alternative.
I remember this version. And
And
I was one of the
threw it
people
in.
who said you should not put that in.
Well, I thought about it, and I took the critique seriously because I was just thinking about certain directors. Like, this is such a pain. It's going to be a pain in the ass for certain directors to be like, all right, every time
That was exactly my feedback. I remember.
Okay. But guys, this isn't D&D. Like, we want cool stuff. Like the directors get just as excited as players, and also like you're underestimating, I think, directors' abilities to say to their player, "Hey, I appreciate that you've picked this trait, which could be a bit weird. There might be times where we have to do this, or it's also your job to, just like the summoner has the how to challenge the players with this, write that section for it. It's like the same way I had a very similar. I don't want to spoil. I had a very similar conversation with Jenny about an upcoming Ancestry she's working on, where she had a incredibly cool complication, and I was like, this should be the signature trait of this Ancestry. Because why, like, I hate to say it, but like,
Continue.
This, like, why have an Ancestry that could just be a reskin of another Ancestry? Because fundamentally, you could get here by just reskinning another Ancestry. So put the cool stuff in that you'd want in the cool things you think are cool and you want at your table, just like we would with monsters. And then if a director says and a player go, oh, we can't figure out how we'd use this, that's okay, because there's already the base game Ancestries.
Now I genuinely wonder if you liked Prismians.
I felt like they had a couple of the like abilities they had were very, very interesting, but there was a reason I didn't give them S tier. You couldn't have paid me to say that. I think they were borderline A and B. They were A because it was I think I was a little kinder to them because I was like, obviously I'm not going to sit there in an advert and be like, I don't like this. That's not what you're paying me to do, right? And it wasn't that I disliked it. I think those like Ancestry stuff like this one are like very comfortably, they're a perfectly good Ancestry. If this is what you want, and you want somebody else to have done that kind of reskinning and homebrew, then that's really good. I just, having read 125 Ancestries, which is more Ancestries than anyone should ever read in a week, right? Don't do it to yourself. I am now at a point in my life where I'm like, I want the particularly extreme end. Like, I want something really, really exciting.
This is your S tier,
Understandable.
by the way, from the video.
Yes.
Screenshotted live.
Yes.
Hey, okay, all right. I like you again because Oaklings are in S tier.
Oaklings are amazing. Oaklings were one of my favorite Ancestries from the thing. The little guy, love the little guy. Stan the little guy.
You know what?
Also, I
let
just
me
want to
be
mention
serious for a second.
Azimath's B tier,
Azimath's
not C
B
tier.
Oh, they would be. My bad. Yeah. Yes, because
let's-
B tier was my. This is just really good. That I have no complaints, but I have nothing to explain why this is cool.
Let me like drop the facade of like humor for a second. I really do appreciate your feedback though, and your insight, because right, like and this is probably the part, like the learning that we're all going through, or maybe more even appropriately to say the unlearning
Yes.
from the other game that many of us have played.
D20 Fantasy.
Yes.
Yeah. Tunnels and trolls.
To like take those risks with design,
Yes.
and be willing, I suppose. I'm kind of arriving at this conclusion right now, but like be willing to, I don't know, for lack of a better term, like alienate people with your design, to be like, hey,
Yeah.
you know, like this is weird, but it's how I envision the instantiation of this ancestry via the rules of Draw Steel. Yeah, and I know when I designed Oaklings, I was like thinking of tiny little creatures that can like go inside their like oak cap. And I designed Argillum, Ananam contributed to some of the design, and then Tamwin as well. And it was ultimately me who decided to make it more broadly accessible and maybe smush some of those more risky and potentially alienating design choices. But I still love it.
I think the biggest weakness with this Ancestry to me, and it's like I talked a lot about in the video, is that it comes very close to what I was badly describing as a vibes-based Ancestry, which is an Ancestry which doesn't ever tell you what the Ancestry is. Like, there was one, I think it's the Harmony. Was it the Harmony? The Harmony did really, really well in the overall thing. And I was just there like, this Ancestry at no point explains what a Harmony is. Like, why is a harmony? And then it gives you no ancestry traits to explain what a harmony is, and it lets you put that onto it. And I'm like, I appreciate that you want to give me the space to be whatever I want to be, but Draw Steel already gives me that space. I'm already capable of being whoever I want to be all the time. And so I want to hear your really cool stuff, creators. Like, when you're making Draw Steel products, I want to see the really, really cool stuff you have to add, because that is so much better than I can always take your cool thing and take the bits I don't like out of it and still have your cool stuff underneath, than I can add in the cool stuff that you're not telling the world, you know?
So be it.
Amen.
I think that's a good place to end it. Also, respect for this because it clearly no, that's not the right way to put it. It shows you that you're not only looking at artwork, because some of these don't even have art. It's just text.
There was my big takeaway from this is, I think if I was to give a critique of the overall jam, I think you guys weighted art and layout way too highly. Like, there were my biggest critique, and I want to say this now because they actually removed their Ancestry, and I think it's really sad, is that there was somebody who uploaded an Ancestry where, now, the layout was very obviously done in Word, but they had included a hand-drawn artwork of their character. Like, it was a hand-drawn, scanned-in piece of artwork of their character, of their Ancestry, and it was rated as the worst art in the thing. And I think it was deeply wrong that you guys rated someone who had hand-drawn something below people who had used stock imagery, who didn't have art at all. Like, it really made me angry. And the fact that that person went and, once they found out I was making the video, deleted that Ancestry, shows that you guys kind of pushed them away from the community. And I think it was a real moment for me. I was like, no, we need to understand that art is important, but art isn't everything. Design is what's really important at the table a lot of the time. You're not pulling out the artwork every session.
Yeah.
See what you've done, John?
Well, let's be generous. We don't know why necessarily that individual deleted their Ancestry. Right?
Sure. But
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I don't disagree with Frederica either.
Yeah.
And it shows. I mean, it was our second outing, so we should at least have taken some learnings from the first one. And we need to do better for the next one. and we have to restructure a lot of things for the next one because to be quite frank, the second Gems of the Timescape kind of ended up exploding in a way we did not anticipate. It was so yeah.
Yes, no. I don't blame anyone personally. I just think it's a thing that the community needs to think about, if that makes sense.
And I'm not gonna try to shift blame, but I think it is also kind of like a product of MCDM having a lot of focus and talking a lot about art.
Yes.
And also having a third-party community who also values art very much.
Yes.
We end up having a skewed perception or about how how easy it is to do art. Because when you look at some of the third-party stuff being published for Draw Steel, the art is very, very, very good and very expensive. And when
Interesting.
when people when people make these things that in their free time as part of a jam, it's very cool. I mean, the art for the Azimuths is incredible. It's drawn by the designer. It's insane. But then again, that gets hard. It makes stuff like just like this text kind of pale. Oh, that's that's not intentional. I thought it went a bit pale. But it makes it pale in comparison.
I 100% agree. The Azimuth art was unbelievable. I just said but no, I agree. I 100% agree. Art is important. It's part of the design. I think it's important with AI and stuff that we value human art, even if it's not as good compared to no art or stock imagery or using computer assets and kind of putting them together. That's my stance. And that's why stuff like your Woodlink, is that what I remember correctly, got so highly, is because I think that's a great use of art. Like, I immediately knew who that guy was. I would like one. If you ever make plushies of them, they will sit right here,
That's going to be the end of the stream. A discussion about the importance of art and how to rate game jams.
Yeah. If I'm going to be on this show one time, I want to be memorable,
Now we gotta see how many clips will Frederica make.
If you made it this far into the video, can you just drop a little comment down below, a little clap emoji to thank my editor? I asked him to do this video on quite short notice. We're working on something in the future, but this one was on quite short notice as a test out. And I mean, if you made it this far, it must have been a pretty good video. So can you just give them a little clap emoji? And if you're looking for an editor for anything TTRPG or YouTube related, check the description below for contact details to contact Siobhan. They're really amazing, hard worker. I strongly recommend. I just realised that this is probably the only bit that you will hate editing as much as I hated recording it. Like, this is probably making you so uncomfortable, and that's kind of funny to me. If you want to learn more about Mythic Treasures, check out Wednesday's video. And if you're inspired to start writing your own TTRPG or Draw Steel campaign, check out the other one. And if both of those sound terrible, YouTube probably knows you better than I do, so they're recommending you something on the other side of the screen. Thank you so much for watching. There isn't, again, I keep telling you this, there isn't any secret bonus video here. You can go. I don't know what you're hanging around for. There's never gonna be a secret bonus video. This isn't a Marvel. I'm not the MCU.